Hi guys, Tim Jordan here from the marketing team. I'm the product marketing manager. Today we're going to talk about the Diploma of Hospitality. And it's a new course that we're about to launch, and this presentation will go for about 20 to 25 minutes, and hopefully after that you'll have all the information you need to advise potential students about this course. So we'll get started. So what we're going to talk about today is I'll give you a brief overview of this course and why we've chosen it and what it's all about. We're going to talk about the target audience, so who we think is going to be interested in this course and who we're aiming the course at. We'll go through the outcomes that a student will get, so what kind of jobs they can get when they complete this course. And I'll take you through the structure, what kind of things they'll study, the students will study, and the details of the duration, etc. I'll talk to you about the entry requirements that students need to enter the course, and this course contains structured workplace learning, so I'll go through the details of that. There are articulation into university, so I'll talk about that as well, and then we'll finish off with a comparison with our competitors, and also finally how much the course costs and the pricing options. So we identified the hospitality area as a course area that we wanted to develop. We currently have courses in tourism, and we felt that this was a bit of a gap in our portfolio. And hospitality is massive. It's one of the biggest employers in Australia. Over 1 million people work in the tourism and hospitality industry within Australia. So it's a huge industry with a lot of employees, but few of the people that actually work in hospitality have any qualifications. So a lot of the time they're casual staff, they're working at a short-term capacity, and for a lot of people the ambitions that they have in the industry are fairly short-term. However, there is a very large group of hospitality employees that consider what they do as their long-term career, and many of those don't have actual qualifications that go behind them. They just rely on their experience. So employers are increasingly looking for workers who have skills and qualifications in hospitality, especially if you want to become a supervisor or a manager. These days, you will not only need experience, but you'll also need a qualification behind you to lead a team in hospitality. So there's plenty of work opportunities out there in the industry. So that's why we really identified this area as an area of interest that we wanted to pursue. That and the fact that there are not a lot of providers offering this qualification via online. So I'll go through that at the end. So the target audience for this course, we're thinking mid to late 20s, and the majority of people are going to be female. So roughly equivalent to our average here at Open Colleges of 85 to 87%. We think that a fair chunk of the target audience will be employed, almost 70%. So what that means is I think they're going to be working already in hospitality as a waiter or in a cafe or behind a bar, maybe in an RSL or a club, and they're going to want to use this course to formalise their learning. We think most people will have completed the HSC or some other qualification, whether that's in hospitality or a different field. So I think that the motivation for moving into the hospitality industry is either those who want to change their career, so those who are working in a different industry or are not working at all, and have identified that hospitality is a place that they think that is for them, an industry that they think they'll excel at, or they're already working in hospitality, perhaps on a casual basis or perhaps full-time, and they want to use this qualification to become a supervisor or become a manager, so to actually move up in their career. Maybe they're working in their cafe or working in their restaurant thinking, I could run this place, or I'm ready to lead a team of my own, but they need a qualification behind them to convince their manager that they have what it takes. Often also people are interested in starting their own business and running their own hospitality business. Like perhaps they want to open their own little cafe, or they want to branch out on their own and start a catering company or something similar. And this qualification will help give them the basis for those ambitions. The sorts of people that are interested in hospitality. Generally, they enjoy customer service. They actually like working with people. They're very social people, so they enjoy the interaction they have with customers. Yes, you do find people who work in restaurants and cafes. Sometimes they're grumpy. But the people who are serious about hospitality, who are serious enough to do a qualification in it, actually genuinely enjoy the interaction they get, and they like solving problems for people. They like they like sort of helping, and they get satisfaction out of that. What they don't want is they don't want a desk job. They don't want a job that is repetitive, that every day is very similar. They like the dynamic nature of hospitality. That they can come to work and it might not be the same as the day before. They actually don't mind working odd hours as well. I think by the time that they've started their career in hospitality, they realise that they're not going to work the 9 to 5, and for them that's fine. They're often they often see themselves apart from the rest of the community, and they're more than happy to be working into late at night and get the time off when other people are at work. There are also, for this industry, many potential students are attracted to the ability to travel in hospitality. So hospitality is a global industry. If you've got experience and a qualification, especially in Australia, and the nationally recognised Australian qualifications are relatively well thought of around the world, they could get a job somewhere else. So there is that option to get a few years experience here in Australia, get a qualification, then grab a working visa and go over to the UK or to Canada or another country like that. And there's also an element of glamour in the high-end hospitality industry. So you got your 5-star hotels and your 3-hat restaurants, and that does attract a certain type of people. And the reality is that most graduates won't end up working in those industries, but it's those are the areas of hospitality that people are really attracted to. So that brings a level of interest in the industry. So for this course, it's a fairly broad course in hospitality, so it will allow students to find jobs across the whole spectrum of hospitality. So hospitality covers anything from cafes to restaurants, hotels and motels, pubs, nightclubs, RSL clubs, casinos, resorts, cruise ships. So you've got our friend Tom Cruise there on the right as a bartender. So the course won't teach you how to make cocktails, but it will teach you the theory and the skills that you'll need to work in any of those areas, because it's more of a management qualification. So you could use this course to get yourself a supervisory role, managing a team, or managing a particular function. But the course is also an entry-level course as well. You don't need any experience in hospitality to enrol, and I'll go through the entry requirements soon. So the job titles out of the training package include things like front office manager or a hotel motel manager, to managing functions, catering, and also managing your own or running your own small business. Now, just a side note on those, a student shouldn't expect to graduate from this course and get a job as the manager of a motel or get a job as managing a cafe. Any jobs related to supervising a team or management in hospitality will also require several years of experience. But what this qualification does is gives you the groundwork for those roles. So the way this course is structured, and I'd suggest that you also take a look at the course brochure to look at the individual units that are in this course. So there are 8 study periods within the course. It's a fairly big course, a lot of units. I think there are 28 units in total. The course has 6 study periods that everybody does. Then for the last 2 study periods, students can choose from 2 elective streams out of 4 that are available. So you can see those elective streams there. There's food and beverage. There's also food and beverage management in a licensed premises. There's front of house, and there's hospitality small business management. So looking at those study period topics, so you kind of start off with the basics, you start off with the fundamentals of hospitality, then it goes into a focus of teamwork and focus of customer service. So they're obviously very crucial skills that employers are looking for when in hospitality workers. You've got risk management there, and then you've got manage people and lead people, and then you've got the accounts. So that study period 6 is around accounts and operations, so things like budgeting, things like stock control, things that really are the nuts and bolts of managing hospitality. So again, it's not frontline how to make cocktails or how to set a table at a restaurant. It's more of the kind of soft skills, more of the management skills that you need to move your way up in hospitality. You'll learn all those hard skills, those kind of really specific skills throughout the work placement, which I'll talk about soon. So then you see the elective streams. So food and beverage management relates to anything to do with service of food and beverage. So that really is things like cafes and restaurants. You'll see the elective stream of food and beverage in a licensed premises. So again, that's relating to food and beverage service, but obviously with alcohol involved. So any premises that is allowed to serve alcohol, so it could be a bar or a casino or a restaurant or a licensed cafe. Then you've got front of house, which relates more to hotels. So students who are interested in getting into the hotel-motel industry, you'd be advised to counsel them towards that elective. And then I think I like the last elective stream as well, which is small business management for hospitality. And that's one area that nobody else is doing in the industry. No other provider that I could find. And I think that's a really nice elective for those people who have ambitions to run their own business. I will also point out that if students want to select the food and beverage management stream with the licensed premises, they will need to get their responsible service of alcohol, which is an RSA. So we don't provide that unit. We don't provide a certificate in responsible service of alcohol. So students will need to get their own RSA certificate before starting that elective stream. So that's very similar to other courses where we have first aid in the course. We don't provide a first aid course, a first aid certificate, and so students just need to show us evidence of their certificate before they enrol in that study period. So they can go and do that online, or they can do that at their local TAFE or at a local provider for RSA. Also, I'll point out that this is a North Coast TAFE course. So students will be awarded a Diploma of Hospitality from North Coast TAFE, although the delivery of the course, all the course material and all the trainers are from open colleges. So I think that's a nice selling point for those students interested in getting a TAFE qualification. Okay, so what do students need to actually enroll in this course? So as I said, this is an entry-level course. You don't need any experience in hospitality, any prior knowledge. You don't need to be working in hospitality to enroll in this course. There are also, according to the training package, there are no formal entry requirements. However, due to the size of the course and the nature of the material in the course, the types of learning activities that the faculty have designed within this course, we require that students have completed Year 12, or they could have completed a Certificate 3 in any field, or if they haven't done any of those two, we require 2 years of work experience. So that can be work experience in anything, as long as it demonstrates that they have the literacy skills to complete the assessments in this course. So if you have any students who you think might be borderline on any of those requirements, obviously send them through to the faculty for an assessment. We do require students to be 18 years old because most hospitality work placements will require students to be 18 anyway. As per the computer requirements, the audio-visual requirements, these are pretty standard as per all of our other courses. I would advise check the brochure or check the website for the details on what students will need from a computer point of view, what audio visual stuff they'll need. The last component of entry requirements is just that students should be aware that there is a work placement component to this course. Now, that makes a lot of sense, I think. You can't learn the ins and outs of hospitality just from theory work. So students will need to be advised that they'll need to find a work placement before they start study period 3. So as I said, they don't need to be working already. They don't need to have a work placement before they enroll in the course. So they've got 2 study periods to kind of get themselves together and figure out where they want to do their work placement and where and what areas they might be interested in. Okay, so now we'll move on to structured workplace learning and how that works for this course. So we've included structured workplace learning in this course so that students get the practice they get to practice what they learn in their theory work, and with their online material, they can practice that in a real workplace, and that's what's going to get them a job. In hospitality, yes, a qualification is a good thing, but you're not going to get a job with a qualification and no experience. Well, you certainly won't get a higher level role. You'll come in at the entry level without any experience. So it also allows students to gain valuable skills and get them job ready by the time they graduate. So when they graduate with a diploma of hospitality plus all their hours of work placement, they'll have experience on their resume. So that gives them a much better chance of getting a job. And it also allows them to get valuable contacts. So there's a good chance that if they do a good job in their work placement and their employer likes them, that they could potentially end up with maybe a part-time role at the end of it. The reality is the hospitality industry is workers are in demand. People are hiring casuals, and they're hiring people who are only doing it on the weekends. Whereas if they had the choice, if they were interviewing 2 people and one of them had a diploma of hospitality and work placement experience and the other one just had experience, they'll take the diploma student every time, because that shows that student is committed. It shows that the student is interested in the industry and wants to learn, and they could have a potential manager on their hands after a few years. So the number of work placement hours students will need to do over the course is 144 hours. That's the minimum. The number of hours might vary depending on the elective stream chosen. So I guess the advice to students will be that certain elective streams may have more work placement in them. But they need to have their work placement secure before they start study period 3, because that's when the work placement kicks in. So the work placement needs to be fairly specific. I mean, obviously it needs to be a hospitality workplace. In that, students will need to have access to commercial hospitality equipment and resources. So it'll depend on the elective streams that they choose. So if they choose food and beverage as an elective stream, well, they'll need to have access to kitchens and places to serve food and beverage. If they select front of house as their elective stream, they'll need access to hotel reservation system and a front desk. So often that will include things like a kitchen, bar equipment, specific programs for hospitality, software programs, and there's a lot of policies and procedures that they'll need to kind of show that they're familiar with as part of the assessments. So the type of suitable workplace, things like casinos, hotels, restaurants, pub, a cafe might be okay. And it will probably be fine for food and beverage, but if it's not licensed, then they won't be able to continue their work placement in the licensed elective stream. The best thing would be to check with open colleges before undertaking the work placement to make sure it meets all our obligations. And in fact, we have to approve their work placement anyway. The supervisor in the work placement needs to be at a manager level in the hospitality industry with a few years of experience. My advice would be to advise the students to read the Workplace Assessment Guide. That's a document that the faculty has put together, and that document is emailed to the students automatically when they receive the course brochure. So when when a prospect inquires on the website and becomes a lead, they automatically get the email with the brochure. Included with the brochure is the workplace assessment guide, which has all this information in it. So that's the best place to refer students to. Okay, another nice thing about this course is that there is an articulation to the Australian Catholic University. So graduates of the Diploma of Hospitality could get up to 80 out of 240 credits. So that's the equivalent of 1 year. And they'll get that into the Bachelor of Business at ACU. And that's through the North Coast TAFE agreement with Australian Catholic University. So if you're interested in what other courses that North Coast TAFE have, or that we also have, that articulate into university, you can click the link there that's in the PDF, that's in the PowerPoint slides, and that'll take you to all the agreements. So that's that's an articulation that is through our affiliation with TAFE. Okay, so now we get to the part where we're comparing ourselves with the other options out there. So these are what students will no doubt come across when they're doing their research in the Diploma of Hospitality. Like I said, there's few providers who are offering this course via distance or online. Many of them offer it on campus. There's many on-campus options. A lot of them seem to be focused on international students. But really, I could only find two providers offering the current course. There's a couple still advertising the 2007 version, which is very non-compliant, and no doubt those guys, if they get audited soon, would be in trouble. So the first competitor that I could see was the William Blue College of Hospitality Management. These guys are a niche hospitality college. They only teach hospitality, event management, and tourism courses. They have a course in commercial cookery as well. They're a private institute that have a campus in Sydney, North Sydney, and they're at the very top end of the market. So their price for this diploma is $15,400. That is you can pay via vet fee help. So that sort of means that students don't have to pay up front. They pay through their government loan, although it is important to note there that there's a 20% loan fee on top of that price that students need to pay back. They have an entry requirement of year 10, but the main difference is that they're not self-paced. There are 3 intakes per year. I believe there's one soon in February, then there's another in June, and the third one is in September. And so you've got to apply or have your application approved up to, I think, 2 weeks before the intake date. So if you miss out on the February intake, you need to wait until June. I also know that they have a 1-week residential school, which is compulsory for all students. You need to fly to Sydney, Brisbane, or Melbourne and stay there for a week. They have, at your own cost, they have accommodation deals and whatnot, but you need to come to the campus to complete some training. And I think that training is around the hospitality IT software. We don't do that residential school option. We advise that if students want to select that unit, then they do that in their workplace. You only have 1 year to complete the William Blue diploma. So that really means that students need to be doing it fairly quickly. So it's a fair workload over 1 year, and the focus of the William Blue diploma is really around accommodation. So they're really focusing on students who want to work in hotels. They don't articulate to any other universities. William Blue offer their own bachelors of business. So you can articulate from a diploma of hospitality from William Blue into a bachelor of business, into their bachelor of business. The second competitor I could find was a competitor called Courses Now. Courses Now are similar, I guess, to Seek Learning in that they don't teach their own courses. They sell the courses of other providers. So the course that Courses Now are advertising is a TAFE New South Wales course. The TAFE New South Wales, their standard fee for all diplomas through Courses Now is $4,990, and they also attract vet fee help. So I think, and obviously the 20% loan fee applies to vet fee help for Courses Now. They also require Year 10, and but they also make reference to the fact that it's preferred that students have a Cert 4 before enrolling in a diploma. Now, very few people are going to actually have a Cert 4 in hospitality because there's no real employment outcome from a Cert 4 in hospitality. They do have an enroll anytime flexible delivery, just much like us. So it is self-paced, and they give you 2 years as well. There's no real focus of the electives or the subjects chosen. They've just kind of chosen random hospitality subjects from the training package, and then have advertised that there are a lot of electives available through TAFE. But you kind of got to go through the units yourself and figure out which ones you want to do. And there's no university articulation advertised. So for open colleges, our price is $5,490, which I think is pretty good value for the size of the course, for 28 units. We're giving students 14 months to pay. So if you pay a $100 deposit, from then on, the cost is $96.25 per week. So we're requiring Year 12 for the entry requirements or 2 years of work experience. And obviously, with our fully flexible online delivery method, you can enrol anytime you want, online or through one of you guys, the CCAs, and away you go. So we give you 2 years to complete the course, and our focus, we've decided to offer the elective streams. So that's something that the other two competitors are not doing, giving elective streams focused on food and beverage, front of house, or small business management. And I think the small business management is a nice area that many students would be interested in. Then there's also the 1 year articulation into the Australian Catholic University. Okay, well that brings me to the end of the presentation. If you've got any questions, contact your team leader or shoot me an email at tim.jordan@opencolleges.edu.au. We should be live with this course on the 6th of February 2014. Now, we are trying to get the course ready for pre-enrollment in the days leading up to that date. So stand by, and hopefully we'll have the course ready for pre-enrollment by the time you're watching this presentation. Thanks for your time, and can't wait to see some students in this course. Cheers.